All right, some things I want to point out. So make sure that you are on the 11.5 volume of pyramids and cones notes. Also, the difference between yesterday and today. For one, the formula is easier. And two, we are using the normal height. So remember yesterday we talked about slant height? Like, it was like on the side of the shape. Slant height, that's, right here. Today we want the normal height, or how tall is the pyramid? Okay, or how tall is the cone, not the height of the slant. So our H is just going to be 6 here. All right, and then this is something that some of us very much struggled on. Like, probably about 40% of us got this wrong on the quiz, and this was part of the quiz that you got some partial credit taken off. So, identifying the base. This is a triangle. That means the area of our triangle, area of triangle, is going to go right here. Because our capital B is the area of whatever the base shape is. This is a triangle. Make sure you can identify that. So you look for the right angle. This right angle. And then you're going to plug these two numbers in here. The 3 and the 4. Here's the deal. On the quiz, there was also a 5 here, which the length of this side is 5. You just didn't need it. But we were using it and we were getting it wrong. So we're going to take 4 and 3. We're going to multiply them. And we're going to divide them by 2. So 4 times 3 is 12. Cut it in half. It's 6. Awesome. Yeah, so that is our capital B. That was something which a lot of you guys did it really well. So, I said probably about 40% of you guys missed the area of the triangular prism. But you got the height right, or it was just the base that you were struggling with. So let's catch that now, figure out how to do that, and then that way we'll have it for the test next week. Our volume is going to be the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So 6 times 6 divided by 3. Yes, which will be 12. So if I put it in our little fraction bar, you're just going to get 12. And it's going to be whatever units cubed, because this is saying that you can have 12 1 by 1 by 1 little cubes that fit inside this pyramid. So we don't have the height right here, so I'm going to put a little X there. But we do have a 10 by 10 square on the bottom, so our capital B is just 10 times 10. Why is that? Because it's a square. And it's just base times height. So the capital B is 10. The H is where it gets a little bit trickier because you have this triangle. So I'm going to redraw this out here. Oh, I guess I should do that. Bum, 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 bum. We want to know this. This is 60. This is a right angle. We don't care about the slant height today. But what is this, like here to here, going to be? How would one figure that out? Anybody know? Yeah, it's going to be 5 because Cora's able to see that this whole side is 10. So if we cut that in half, it's going to be 5. All right, and then you can just use trig. So it's been a little bit since we've done this. I'm going to circle my angle. There's my opposite. This is not touching the angle. If I picked one side of this triangle that was on the opposite side, it would be this side. It's on the opposite of 60. 5 is right next to 60. We don't care about the hypotenuse. So remember, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on apples. And that is also on this formula chart as well. So it's not something that necessarily has to be memorized. But tangent of 60 equals the O over the A. So why is the X on top and the 5 on the bottom? Because the X is opposite and 5 is adjacent. And for tangent, it's always opposite over adjacent. All right, so I'm going to multiply it. So just make sure your calculator is in degree or you're going to get a weird number. X is on top, so when I cross multiply, it's just 5 times tangent of 60. And you get this number. It's like 8.66. I'm going to wait until the end to round this, and I'm going to make sure you guys see how to put this in the calculator. So if you have not typed this into your calculator, you should do that real quick so that you can practice leaving this in your calculator. as you type this in, because your volume is area of the base times the height divided by 3. We know that the area of our base is 100. Our height is going to be this like 8.660, and then it just like goes on. And then the whole thing gets divided by 3. But the easiest way to do this is to just get your little fraction bar, type in the area of your base, which is 100, and then multiply by this number. It's already in your calculator, so all you have to do is use this little arrow and go and highlight it in blue and click enter, and it appears. You just have to make sure you click the multiplication button after the 100. Do that first before you go highlight it. And then divide it all by 3, and you get 288.7 for that. Okay, so that was a more challenging problem than you are going to see today. I just wanted to run it through with you because, you know, you may see some more trig moving forward. So I want you to identify it. And then yesterday we did an area of regular polygon problem. We're going to do another one today. It's the same idea as the one from yesterday. Our height is 7. Make sure you pay attention when the height is not like written inside the shape. Look and see what's going on here. The height is outside here, but it's pretty clear that it shows how tall the shape is. How tall, or like it's perpendicular to this base right here. So it's going to be the height. And then our capital B, some of you may have forgotten. We did this yesterday. It was number 3 and 4 of our assignment from yesterday. But if you have forgotten, I'll show you this. This is a regular polygon. If you look through all of these shapes, none of them are a 5-sided shape besides this regular polygon. So if it has 5 sides, if it has 6 sides, you can use this regular polygon formula, that 1/2 apothem times the perimeter, which the word apothem is actually on the board over there. So if you ever forget what the apothem is, it's right over there. You can just look at that picture and it'll hopefully remind you. So 1/2, my apothem is 2. Where's that coming from? It's right here. You don't have to do any trig or anything crazy. And then my perimeter, we kind of struggled with this yesterday. Well, not necessarily. It was just, I had a lot of questions on it. This has 5 sides. Each of the sides are 3, because this is a regular polygon. It's hard to tell that they are, but it's marked more clearly on the assignment. So our perimeter is going to be 15 because it's 3 times 5. So that 15 is just 3 times 5. All right, and then when we do 0.5 times 2 times 15, we are going to get 15 because the 2 and the 0.5 cancel out. So 15 is our capital B. So, I mean, overall, it's not all that complicated. I just slowly explained it to you. You guys should be able to get it fairly quickly. But our volume is just BH divided by 3. We have our B, we have our H. Let's just multiply them and divide by 3. And it should be 35 when we put that in the calculator. 15 times 7 divided by 3 is 35. All right. The main point of putting this particular problem in here is so that you make sure that you can identify, like, what is the difference between the slant height and just that normal height. Okay, this we are given the slant height. This is a slant height. We do not need the slant height. We need the H right there. So we have to do Pythagorean theorem using 15 and then the base of this triangle. Here's the deal. The base of this triangle is not 18. This is a right triangle. You've got to cut that in half, which is the same as the radius, so you need 9 anyway. All right, so 9 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. And this is just Pythagorean theorem. So why did that 15 go here instead of here? Because it's the hypotenuse. It's across from that right angle. So I'm going to subtract 9 squared on both sides. Make sure you don't do 15 minus 9 because you will get that wrong. Like, it's 15 squared minus 9 squared, which ends up being 144. Who knows what the last step is for Pythagorean theorem? 144 is not our answer. What do you got to do? Yeah, you just got to take the square root because it's b squared So the square root, remember that little symbol, is just going to be 12. And that's what our height is. All right, now we have all the same things. So notice what's going on here. Pi r squared is actually our capital B. So like for a pyramid, it's still the 1/3 BH formula. But our capital B for a cone is always going to be pi r squared. So the capital B for a cone is always pi r squared. So that's why it's written like this. So we can plug these things in. So pi times 9 squared times 12 divided by 3. So I'm going to put this in my calculator. Pi times 9 squared times 12 divided by 3. And I'm going to get 1017.9. Okay, and for this number 5 right here, to go get that. Am I going too fast? Love that. Okay, so what I'm going to do for you guys is these are actually congruent. I know this is like a funky looking cone, but this is still the height. And since this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the length of the diameter is 6 as well. So the radius is 3. So I'm going to pause real quick, and I want you to just get some practice in like typing this formula into the calculator. Make sure you actually know how to do it, and there's no snafus before we get to the assignment. Okay, so this is the formula. And that is what we get for the volume.